give stories for children. I reply that I don't write children's stories. And he writes back that at a recent Congress Book Fair seminar, a certain novelist said every writer ought to write at least one story for children.
So the first thing I notice is that this piece was labeled a short story, and this is a pretty unique start to a short story. Is there a bit of an edge to the voice here?
It seems like it. The way the narrator says someone has written and certain novelist instead of being specific, that stands out to me.
Right. Yeah, and the directness of her statements, I reply, and I don't write, it seems pretty sharp.
It's also in the first person point of view, so I wonder, is this person a narrator, or is this the author's voice?
I'm not sure. At this point, it could be a character in the story speaking, but this also seems like it could be an introduction by the author to her own short story.
Yeah, and another thing I wondered, what is a congress?
In this context? In this context, I'd guess a congress is some sort of meeting of writers or publishing people.
I should probably look that up. And she goes on, I think of sending a postcard saying I don't accept that I ought to write anything. And then last night I woke up, or rather was wakened, without knowing what had roused me. A voice in the echo chamber of the subconscious. A sound.
So, I don't accept that I ought to write anything. That really shows the author's attitude towards this request.
It does. I don't accept is pretty definite. And she's quoting the certain novelist by putting ought in quotation marks.
But then immediately after that, she says, and then, and she describes waking up. And it seems like, well, something is gnawing at her a little bit.
Yeah, she seemed clear about how she felt about this. And now she says, I woke up, or rather was wakened. That's interesting. By what?
I don't know. What is a voice in the echo chamber of the subconscious? They say subconscious is what's at work when people dream, so maybe she's wondering if a voice echoing up out of a dream is the sound that woke her up?
Yeah, at first she makes it seem like the sound is maybe something she thought or imagined, and then it's just this very short, simple sentence, a sound.
So she asks a question, and then it seems answers it. Now I really want to know what the sound was.
Right. She's definitely using this introduction to build suspense.
It's an interesting way to start a short story. You know, she doesn't want to write this kind of story, and now we're going to see if she decided to write the story anyway.